Anyone who would like to present a PowerPoint presentation for public comment has to present the presentation 24 hours in advance for review by the staff for appropriateness. And 10, all questions should be directed to the chairperson, who at her discretion solicit a response from the appropriate staff members.
Stephanie Parks, Athena Farlow, and Amy Jones. Who are you?
I'm Emily Jones.
Okay, and could you just say your name and address for the record, please?
Emily Jones, 18232 Beacon Lane, Norfolk, Virginia, 23410. And I'm transferring my time to Chris Cartwright.
Okay, thank you. And Athena Farlow? Hello?
Can you hear?
Yes, that's good. Well, let me hear you.
My name is Athena Farlow, 35226 Bradford Neck Urban Community. I am reading on behalf of Mary Beth Phillips, and this is directed toward the members of the school board. She says, I am writing to share deep concerns regarding the current state of our schools under the present administration. Many staff members, family, and community supporters have expressed frustration and disappointment with the lack of administrative support, inconsistent policies, and the overall instability affecting both staff and students. Staff morale is at an all-time low. Teachers and support staff are being written up frequently for minor and or unclear reasons, often without fair consideration or context. Many are being moved to different grade levels, subjects, and even schools with little notice. This constant upheaval has disrupted classrooms, undermined instructional consistency, and created frustration among educators, students, and parents alike. Several staff members have also faced serious actions, such as being reported by to Child Protective Services, placed on unpaid leave, or even arrested. With limited investigation or transparency, meanwhile, other teachers are left to cover additional classes, responsibilities, and inadequate support or compensation. Instances have also been reported where staff have been spoken to in a manner that lacks the professionalism and respect expected from leadership. Compounding these issues, our schools are suffering from significant staffing shortages. Some schools have been without key personnel such as counselors or librarians. Since the beginning of the school year, students have limited access to books and libraries, and teachers face strict limits on copies and classroom resources. These conditions make it increasingly difficult to provide the quality education our students deserve. Additionally, the new volunteer policy has created confusion and barriers for families who wish to assist in schools. Parents and community members who want to chaperone field trips, help in classrooms, and contribute to book fairs are finding the process unclear and restrictive. As a result, field trips are being canceled, opportunities for family engagement is shrinking, further weakening the support network that our schools so badly need. We respect and ask the school board to review these concerns and take meaningful action to restore stability, trust, and collaboration with our district. Our teachers and staff deserve to feel valued and supported, and our students deserve consistent, well-resourced classrooms. Revisiting the volunteer policy, ensuring fair treatment for staff, and addressing administrative leadership issues would be important to step forward rebuilding our school's foundations. Thank you for your time, your service, and your attention to these pressing matters. The Accomack County community cares so deeply. Yes, I'm not done, and I'm sorry, but I do want to address you and your attitude towards the last school board meeting. Your attitude was appalling, and I hope that you can maintain decorum the next time that you have a meeting. Thank you.
Emily Jones. And Chris Cartman. I'm sorry, Emily Jones is just the next person.
She yielded her time to me. She already did.
I understand. She came up early. She was the first one.
78 Park. She's here.
So you didn't write. You. Stephanie Farlow.
Yeah, I got here with 6:35 ago. Okay, ready? Okay, my name is Stephanie Parks, and I'm a parent in Accomack County Public Schools. Oh, yeah, 27411 Evergreen Lane, Melfa, Virginia, 23410. My name is Stephanie Parks, and I'm a parent in Accomack County Public Schools. Many families and educators are being increasingly frustrated with the ongoing lack of transparency, communication, and stability within the district. Over the past year, we watched leadership move principals and key staff around like pieces on a game board, with no notice or explanation. Teachers and parents are finding out about reassignments the same day they happen, leaving schools scrambling to adjust and communities confused. The same pattern continues in smaller but equally important moments. During the recent Pungatig Elementary Book Fair, parents were first told they could volunteer and help set up, only to be told at the last minute on the very day setup was supposed to begin that they could not because they needed to be board approved. This was despite those same parents already completing background checks and volunteer training. With no librarian at Pungatig, parents stepped up to make sure the students still had a book fair experience. The PTA president had everything organized, volunteers scheduled, materials ready, and every detail in place for a successful event. Then the district reversed course, leaving everyone scrambling. And now, guess who's stepping up? Teachers. They are using their own planning periods to fill in because parents aren't being allowed to help inside the school. So once again, it's the teachers and staff carrying the burden of poor communication and confusing leadership decisions. These constant, unexplained changes leave everyone, and especially our students, paying the price for disorganization and lack of transparency. This comes after what many of us feel was a reckless decision to dismiss a superintendent who devoted 36 years of her life to this community. Parents and teachers want the same thing: clarity, collaboration, and respect. We are not asking for control. We are asking for common sense and genuine partnership. Thank you for your time and for helping. We all want to work together. That's all we want for the kids. And we just want to go in and help. There's no librarian. We just want the kids to have a book fair. And I just think that's not asking too much. Thank you.
Chris Cartwright, 24020 East Point Road, Nancock. I'm a parent of 4 ACPS students and a resident of District 7. Good evening, Dr. Miller and members of the board. I stand before you tonight because I believe that the trust between this administration and our community is at the very least strained and in need of repair. In a short span of months, we've seen schools unsettled, respected leaders leave or be reassigned, and staff and parents grow uncertain about whether it is safe to speak honestly. When Dr. Brian Patterson was reassigned, we lost an administrator who had delayed his own retirement to continue serving our children. That decision, made with the understanding that this would lead to his retirement, left many of us confused and concerned. Why would we intentionally move to part ways with such an experienced and trusted leader? Similarly, when Vice Principal Alicia Payne was reassigned, the community was told that she had volunteered for the move, though we knew that wasn't the case. Integrity and communication is vital to building trust. There are other areas that have raised concern as well. Parents are being turned away from volunteering or attending field trips, even parents whose IEP or 504 plans require their presence. Teachers are giving up their own time, even personal leave, to fill these gaps. Many are heroically giving up state-mandated planning time to meet the needs that could easily be met by parent volunteers. And at the same time, schools have seen the loss of nursing staff, which raises questions about student health and safety and about how resources are being allocated. Our teachers and staff are not merely human resources, they are people with deep commitment to our community, and they deserve to be treated with dignity. Accomack County already finds it difficult to draw teachers into our area. It seems like poor strategy to erode trust in the existing staff with wanton staffing changes and dismissals. When parents or teachers seek clarity on these issues, they are often told that information can't be shared due to confidentiality. We understand there are times when privacy is necessary, But when that becomes the default response, it begins to look like avoidance. We're not asking for private personnel files. We're asking for honesty and open communication about decisions that affect our schools and our children. It feels as if the very people who fund and support this school system are being shut out of it. Is that the intention? What are our leaders trying to hide that they need to conduct most of their business in closed session and keep parents out of schools? Now, if we are mistaken about any of these things, and it wouldn't be the first time because we all make mistakes, please help us understand how we are mistaken. But if we are not, then I would suggest that responsibility needs to be taken when mistakes are made. Integrity grows when we own missteps and make them right. Our request tonight is simple. Be transparent, be truthful, and be willing to listen. Allow public comment before votes are taken, not after. Let parents sign up to speak even if they arrive during the meeting. Require written justification when the board votes against clear public sentiment. Model decorum, even in disagreement. Communicate clearly about staff changes. Clarify policies like KK and KK-R in writing so that they are applied consistently. Encourage and expedite parent volunteers who follow the requirements. Protect staff who speak up from intimidation or retaliation. And above all, let's begin with building trust together by choosing honesty and humility. Authority doesn't dictate truth. Truth is the authority. Our children deserve a school system that reflects steadiness, integrity, and respect. Please show us that those values still matter deeply in Accomack County. Thank you.
Christina Freeze, Megan Cartwright, Connie Barker.
Hello, Christina Freeze, 35185 North Way, Bellhaven, Virginia, 23306, and I'm going to give my time to Megan Cartwright.
Megan Cartwright, 24020 East Point Road, Annapolis, Virginia. First, let me thank you so much for moving public comment to the beginning of the meeting. I know that was in response to a lot of parents requesting it, and it really makes us feel heard. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak tonight on behalf of the parents, students, and staff of Accomack County. I spent 19 years as a public school educator, but I'm here tonight as the head of the parent-teacher organization at Punkateague Elementary School. When we started our PTO, our goal was simple: to support teachers and meet needs within the school so that our teachers could focus on educating students. Over the past 4 years, we've worked tirelessly to build stronger parent engagement because parents and schools working together means children are thriving. This fall, though, much of that progress has been dismantled. As a parent, educator, and community member, I have watched with growing concern as poor decisions, inconsistent communication, and a lack of integrity have eroded what was once a relationship built on trust. Please understand, my purpose in speaking tonight is not to attack, but to advocate. I believe in public education. I believe in Accomack County. Research is clear. Education is the single greatest factor in helping people rise socioeconomically. That means the work that you do here, the decisions you make, carry enormous weight. School board members, you've taken an oath to make the best decisions for our community. If no one ran against you in the last election, that does not lessen your responsibility. It increases it. Right now, one of the most urgent issues is the confusion and inconsistency surrounding the district's volunteer policies. Even members of the central office seem unclear on how to apply them. Yet when we look at the actual language of the adopted policies, file KK and KKR, there is no mention of requiring school board approval or extra trainings before parents may volunteer. The policy simply says volunteers must make themselves available for a background check. Only this summer were additional requirements introduced, and to this day, no official policy supports those changes. Let me be clear. We are not against safety measures. We support background checks. We support the use of the Raptor system to monitor visitors. We support training when volunteers work one-on-one with students or attend overnight trips. But we oppose the misapplication of policy and the refusal to approve volunteers who have completed every requirement in place. The board must act based on the current policy, not on a possible future one. And under Title I, parent engagement is not optional. It is a federal requirement. Just as concerning is the lack of honesty and transparency we've seen from both the school board and the administrative team. Time and time again, we've heard partial truths or statements that have later been clarified. Just today, a Pungatee parent received an email from Dr. Miller that contained an explanation inconsistent with the truth. My own board representative has repeatedly failed to respond to follow-up questions, dismissing legitimate concerns as confidential. That is not accountability. Our community deserves leaders who listen, leaders who tell the truth even when it's uncomfortable, leaders who take the time to understand the people that they serve. We've heard a lot of talk about community engagement, yet it has taken nearly 5 months to begin meeting with parent advisory groups. That should have been step one. Bringing Accomack County into compliance is good. Strengthening weak areas is good. But good leadership begins with listening. Strong leaders don't lead from a distance, they walk alongside their people. A good superintendent is not a monarch ruling from on high, but a servant leader who values collaboration and trust. Mistakes have been made. You failed to clearly communicate changes. You failed to walk stakeholders through the process. You failed to protect the partnership between families and schools. But those mistakes can be corrected. So tonight I'm asking you, change your approach. Learn about this place and its people, have real conversations, be humble enough to hear a different point of view. The people of the Eastern Shore are wonderfully loyal to those who take the time to walk beside them. We want to work with you. We want our schools to succeed, but that requires transparency, integrity, and partnership. Let's rebuild that trust together. Thank you.
Connie Weippert, 8128 DB Road, Shankaty, Virginia. I think we can, I can eliminate a whole page. We talked about the field trip policy and all that, so. I'd like to bring the board's attention to an incident that took place last week at Shankaty Combined School. During a varsity volleyball game, 2 of Arcadia High School's players were badly injured. They had to be taken to the hospital where they waited a really considerably long time to be seen. One of them ended up with a separated shoulder and the other one with a torn ACL. They were in the waiting room for almost the whole night, and their coach was with them the whole time. They would not have had to have waited as long if they were evaluated by an athletic trainer. When the school board approved the budget, there were 2 athletic trainers that were listed in this budget. Those of us on the northern end knew that we'd probably have to share one. Shankaty and Arcadia, we don't mind sharing. We know we're the stepchildren of the division. We don't care. We're good about that. Never would it have crossed anyone's mind that this board, being led by this chair lady, would make the decision to have only 1 athletic trainer and assign him to Nandua. But it didn't stop there. He came with a bucket list. He had to have a new Kubota, and it was purchased for him. Just imagine the chaos in our school system if every teacher that Accomack County Public Schools hired came with a demand list. Right now, there's a group that's trying to decide how much paper our teachers can have during the school year. We need to have what we have to have for our kids and our teachers to do their jobs. Anyway, I would just like to say that I spoke to the chairperson and I spoke to the superintendent and told them that we already have at Shankaty a gentleman that has been acting as a athletic trainer. And he was more than willing to come up to our end of the county. But you see, that's not allowed. He couldn't do that because apparently in the beginning, when he applied for the job, he was told he had to do all 3 schools. And he knew that logistically, there was no way to do that and do the job effectively. So he was booted out. But then magically, we got another gentleman who came in and was assigned to only 1 school. So my question to the board is, where's the funds for the 2nd athletic trainer? And why does this gentleman not have an opportunity to work on the northern end? Thank you.
The following comments were submitted electronically to be read in public comment at tonight's meeting. Shannon Boggs, 15.
Hey, excuse me, I would be able to make it tonight, can I speak instead?
Yes, what
Is that allowed? Shannon Balls.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Do you want me to come up now?
Sure.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna give you the sheet there, Max, so to speak. I'll if you're here for the roll, say your name and address.
Okay, Shannon Balls.
3 minutes and don't call anybody by name.
Okay. Shannon Boggs, 15490 Punkatig Road. Good evening. My name is Shannon. I'm a parent of 3 children who attend Punkatig Elementary School. I'm here tonight because I'm deeply concerned about the abrupt and ongoing changes taking place within our school system. The decisions appear to be made without proper input from the people most affected, our teachers, staff, and parents. When changes are implemented, the first asking for their perspective. It sends, without asking for their perspective first, it sends a message that their voices do not matter. As parents being left out of these conversations, it makes us question the motives and transparency of the board's actions. Over the past few weeks, several staff members have privately thanked me for speaking up. Many of them have shared that they are afraid to voice their concerns publicly because of backlash they're receiving or fear of losing their job. That alone should tell you that this is a serious problem. These teachers and staff members are already understaffed, overworked, and doing their very best to support our children with limited resources. And she's not lying about the paper, because my daughter comes home all the time saying, we can't get homework, we don't have enough paper, because we're not allowed enough paper. I'm like, what? In just a short time, we've lost a principal, a vice principal, a guidance counselor, a librarian, along with several other valuable staff members across departments. These are not small losses. They directly impact the quality of education and emotional well-being of our students. It's already challenging enough to recruit and retain teachers in our schools, and this kind of instability makes it harder. I've personally watched Punkatig Elementary transform from one of the strongest, most positive schools in the county to one where every day the staff members look stressed, anxious, and uncertain about their futures. I'm asking you as leaders to pause and reflect. Get to know your schools, get to know your employees and your people, and ask questions before making decisions that affect every teacher, staff member, and child in this district. And above all, we as parents are asking for honesty, transparency, and communication, values that very much seem to be lacking right now. Our children, our teachers, and our community deserve to do better, so I hope that you guys will do better. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that submitted comments yesterday that was able to attend today?
Francine Bailey, we have remarks to be read from Frankie Bailey, Gina Ames, Francis DiCarlo, and Deborah Goldberg.
You can read mine. It's fine. Go for it. I got it.
I apologize, I have lost my voice, so I will do my best, I'm sorry. Frankie Bailey, 36017 Davis Wharf Road. Parents are ready to help let us in. Contrary to county policy, specifically files KK and KKR, the superintendent's office has directed schools to prohibit parents from entering school buildings as volunteers unless they've been approved directly by the school board. We all support student safety, but parent involvement is not a threat to safety. It is vital. Part of our school, we bring extra hands, hearts, and care to our children's learning. Many parents have already completed all the required steps, background checks, fingerprinting, TB screenings, and bloodborne pathogen training. How much more vetting is required? Their approvals are being delayed while the board waits on a new unfinished volunteer policy. Because of this restriction, schools have been forced to rely on employees who are also parents, people taking personal leave just to chaperone field trips. Teachers have had to give up valuable planning time to fill roles that parents are ready and willing to take on. At my daughter's school, the library has been closed to students all year, even though willing and qualified volunteers are available. The book fair was almost canceled and will only be held because teachers have stepped in to fill the gaps. When kids lose access to books, libraries, and PTO events, they lose opportunities to grow. I'm asking the board to take 3 simple steps: restore transparency and consistent communication, allow public comment before closed session voting, reinstate and establish volunteer policy files KK and KKR, reopen our schools to the parent partnerships that make them strong. Thank you for your consideration, Frankie Bailey. Gina Amos, 14484 Shore Drive, Melfa. Dear Accomack County School Board members, my name is Gina Amos, and I am an educator with over 13 years of experience and a parent of children at Punkateague Elementary School. I'm submitting this statement to be read regarding serious concerns that are creating confusion, frustration, and legal violations across our schools. First, the volunteer approval process lacks transparency, consistency, and clear guidelines. Parents complete extensive background checks, training, and submit all required documentation, yet approvals appear arbitrary. Some parents are approved, while others who have followed every step are denied. This raises serious concerns about discrimination and fairness. I am requesting a written volunteer policy that clearly outlines the qualifications for approval, so families understand the criteria and decisions are applied fairly and consistently. Second, regarding field trips and students with disabilities, I have personally contacted the Virginia Department of Education, VDOE, about this issue. I was informed that it is illegal to deny parents the ability to accompany their children on field trips when required by an individualized education program, IEP, or Section 504 plan. Failure to follow these accommodations violates federal law under IDEA Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, the Americans with Disability Act, and state law. These are legal obligations, not optional guidelines. Students' rights are being compromised and parents are unfairly excluded from supporting their children. In addition, the constant movement of staffing from one school to the next is creating instability for students, families, and educators alike. Teachers are being reassigned repeatedly, which disrupts relationships, continuity of learning, and the implementation of accommodations for students with special needs. This instability adds stress to both students and staff and undermines the consistency needed for effective education and IEP compliance. Teachers are exhausted by these conditions and the pressure of unclear policies, shifting responsibilities, and inadequate support from the school board contributes to high burnout rates. Teachers do not leave the profession because of students, they leave because of systematic failures and lack of support like what is being shown. I am requesting that the school board take immediate action to 1, establish a transparent, fair, and consistent volunteer approval process. 2, ensure IEP and Section 504 accommodations are followed rigorously, especially regarding field trips and parent involvement. 3, address the constant staffing movement to ensure stability, continuity, and compliance across schools. And 4, clarify policies and responsibilities to prevent teacher burnout and protect students' legal rights. Failure to address these issues leaves families with no choice but to pursue legal remedies to ensure compliance with federal and state law and to protect students' rights. Thank you for your attention to these urgent matters. I respectfully request that these concerns be addressed promptly to provide a fair, legal, and supportive environment for all students, families, and educators. Sincerely, Gina Amos. Sorry, I didn't drink. Francis DiCarlo, 30104 Kelman Lane, Hacksneck. As a parent in Accomack County, I have to speak from the heart. What's happening right now in our schools is not a joy, not just a policy review, it's personal. Parents who have already done everything asked of them, background checks, fingerprinting, TB screening, and training, are being told they still can't step inside their child's schools to help. That's not safety, that's exclusion. We all want our children to be safe, that's never been in question, but safety and parent involvement are not opposite. They go hand in hand. Parents are an essential part of the school community, and when we're shut out, our kids feel it. Teachers are stretched thin. Field trips and events are suffering. Parents who want to help are sitting at home wondering why they're being treated like strangers. Transparency shouldn't be optional. Communication shouldn't depend on who you talk to or what building you're in. Parents deserve a clear answer and fair treatment, not shifting rules behind closed doors. I'm asking, no, I'm pleading with our school board and superintendent's office. Let parents back into our schools. Trust the people who care most about these kids, their families. Work with us, not around us. Our children need to see that we're united in supporting them. That's what community looks like, and that's what Accomack County has always been about. Respectfully, Francis DiCarlo, a concerned parent. Deborah Bull Pruitt, 20403 Duncan Manor Drive, Onamcock. To Accomack County School Board members, I am flabbergasted that schools in Accomack County have made it so difficult for people to volunteer. I can understand that it is a new process implemented, but when they aren't telling them after they have jumped through all the hoops that were set before them, I think parents are not being treated fairly or courteously, and perhaps if I were a parent, I would question why I'm being shut out. Also, I question when parents were notified of this new process, and here it is towards the end of October, and they still do not know if they have been approved or not. Coming from a parent that was very involved with volunteerism, PTA, serving on committees, fundraisings, etc., when my children were in school, I can totally understand how these young parents feel. I shudder to think just how many people would have even gone through all the hoops required for volunteerism a few years ago. However, to me, I would consider it a rude slap in the face to still not even get the pointlessness of even an answer. Politeness of even an answer. Many things I have had to read from the paper or social media, and it is kind of unbelievable. No librarian in the library locked. Principals and assistant principals and nurses suddenly being repositioned to a different school. Are you aware of this, and are there any implications from not having this available? This is all from my grandchildren's school at Punkatig Elementary School. Please do not ignore the schools as you are making publicity by moving your central office and taking a photo op with a shovel and smile. I know you think that is a needed PR boost, but remember, Accomack County schools should not suffer and have to sound a negative PR notice from schools to the observing public, taxpayers, and citizens. I thought your child's education was something that was the responsibility of teachers and parents together. I'm confused. When did that change? And shouldn't that have been given proper PR as well? I know, especially at the elementary level, how much fundraising has been involved, and the school staff cannot be expected to perform additional duties. So I feel Accomack County schools are definitely missing the mark on this topic of volunteers, and whoever is in leadership capacity role for this should definitely get an F on their report card. Deborah Wolford.
Good evening, everybody. Yvonne Vietnam, 27376 White Snake Road, Parksville, Virginia, 23421. I've said this so many times, and I still believe it. We can do better. We try, but sometimes we fall short. That's with anything in life. Background checks for volunteers should not be as a lengthy and drawn-out process as we made this. I say we because I'm a citizen of Accomack County too. Made it hard for our parents, volunteers, to come in the classroom and help children who need our help. The two words that stand out tonight and with me too are transparency and integrity. They go hand in hand. We need to know what's going on, and you need to be honest about it. Telling a little white lie is a lie all the same. Willingness to listen to the parents and with others who have the desire to help our children do better. And with this, we all grow bigger together. The decision of some of the decisions that are made should not be made by one person, should be made by this board jointly. You don't be thrown, it doesn't have to be thrown at you. This is what we're going to do, and you, okay, this is what we're going to do. That is not fair to the citizens of Accomack County, nor to the children. Again, I say, we can do better, and we sure need to try. Thank you.
Before we go into closed session, I know a lot of y'all will leave. I wanted to say that generally, it is our intention that every agenda item appears on our agenda twice. So there's always a time to comment on public comment. If anybody was here at the last meeting, Ms. Burford spoke about the volunteer policy at the last meeting. So there's always, any item appears on our agenda twice. So there's always an opportunity to speak before it is voted on. And secondly, I don't know if anybody is familiar with our mission statement, but the mission statement is to provide, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the first part of it is to provide a safe, engaging, student-centered environment. And while the school board very much values our parents, we very much value our community involvement, we have to take that word safe seriously. And I will, some of you are critical of Dr. Muller, but I will say no superintendent until now has actually bothered to put this into a policy. And I will say I was a little surprised about how many background checks came back with quite a few crimes. And then that was the arduous task of going through and saying, well, which crimes are allowable and which crimes are not. Because more than anything, we want to keep each and every one of your children safe. And we have a raptor system at every entrance to every school that only checks for people who have a sexual criminal but nothing else. Nothing, it doesn't check for anything else. So if someone's been convicted of manslaughter, or malicious wounding, or they've had 3 DUIs this year, decisions had to be made. Do these people volunteer, or do you want these people with your children at the pumpkin patch, or all day at Jamestown, or on a beta field trip? It was a very difficult decision, and I apologize for the delay, but we wanted to get it right. And there was committee meetings, and there was a lot of, talking with other superintendents at other divisions, and looking at other, policies and other divisions, and trying to come up with one that fit our community. So I apologize for the delay, but, it's on the agenda tonight. So, is there a motion to go into closed session?
Madam Chair, just before, I would like to say that I'm only speaking for myself, but with the various things that you said, I can support the safety piece, and otherwise, from my lens, a lot of what you said, you're not speaking for me, because we have points of disagreement.
No, I'm speaking about the process that the board went through, along with the secretary, and that it was lengthy, and that it was very, in my observation, it was very awful. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Whereas the Accomack County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant. The board should convene a closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Code of Virginia. Subsection 2.2-3711, subsection A1, for discussion and consideration of personnel matters, including approval of personnel, professional appointments, classified appointments, status changes, professional and classified resignations, volunteer coaches, and substitute appointments for actions. 2.2-3711, subsection A8, for consultation with legal counsel concerning ongoing litigation.
Second.
Motion second to go into closed session, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?